What's up guys, it's Zylox here, and today we're going to be talking about why Overwatch 2 is doing so well and why are popular and famous streamers starting to play this game. So I don't know about you guys or anything, but my YouTube has just been flooded with Overwatch content. Like everywhere I go, it's just Overwatch. Also, if you go look at Twitch as well, I think it's in the top 5 or top 4 most viewed contents on there right now. So first we're going to talk about what Overwatch 2 is doing different than Overwatch 1, and it has improved since then. So firstly, they made some visual changes to the game as well as adding some new characters to the game. But I think the thing that separates Overwatch 1 from Overwatch 2 the most is it going from a 6v6 to a 5v5. I say this because 1v1 battles are more detrimental to win than it was back then. It also gets rid of the shield meta that happened a lot in Overwatch 1 because there used to be 2 tanks, but now you can only use 1 on your team. And for one of the changes, it could be good or bad. So the change I am talking about is from loot crates to a battle pass. I say it could be good or bad because in the loot crates, you could have got better things from that, but you are also not guaranteed anything. So in the loot crates, you can either get doo-doo or you can either get something really good. But in the battle pass, you are guaranteed what you see, and some of the rewards are actually pretty nice and really cool skins as well. So that's a pretty good change in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure I like that way more than the loot crates. It also added some new maps and a new game mode, and the game mode I'm talking about is Push. This game mode is something like tug of war between the 2 teams, and whoever gets to the other side of the objective is the winner. And to be honest, I think this is one of the most team building games you can play, because when you win, it actually feels good to win because you and your team feel like you did something together. So secondly, we're going to talk about how many people initially played Overwatch 2 on release compared to Overwatch 1. So firstly, it is safe to say that Overwatch 2 had a more initial player base at a whopping 25 million players, with Overwatch 1 only racking up to 20 million. It doesn't sound like a big difference, but 5 million makes a tremendous difference on sales. It is also free compared to Overwatch 1 not being free, so a lot more people are going to be exposed to it instead of having to buy a new game. So I think the main downside you can say from Overwatch 2 on release was that the servers were just so bad and so inconsistent. There could be sometimes I would get on the game and queue up and instantly get into a game, or stay in the game for a long time and play for hours without getting kicked out or without waiting for queues for hours. But then sometimes you'll have those bad days where you get on the game, you try to queue up with your friends, and it just takes so long to get into a game. And then sometimes you have those days where you log on, you start playing it for a little while, and you just get kicked out of nowhere. So I think the thing you can say is that the servers were just so bad on initial launch date, and that's what I could say was the difference between Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 based on initial release. So now we're going to get into the player base on how it is on Overwatch comparing to Overwatch 1. Honestly, it's just as toxic as it was in Overwatch 1 as it is in Overwatch 2. The thing that I think that changed is how players play the game. In Overwatch 1, it was more of a team playing game where the DPS, healers, and everything stayed by your tanks, and you and your team slowly picked off the other team to win the objective. But now Overwatch 2 is feeling more of a DPS firefight. Even the healers are coming to more DPS and being more aggressive, with the buffs of Mora and Kuriko being added to the game. And all is just becoming more aggressive and feeling like a TDM game mode rather than a team mode and a team game as it was initially in Overwatch 1. And I think honestly this is a good change, but a lot of people will disagree with that change. Now so let's get into why Overwatch 2 is getting so much hate. Like every time I ask an Overwatch 1 player who used to play the game a lot on how he feels about Overwatch 2, he just completely hates it or dislikes the game or thinks it's just not as fun as Overwatch 1 was. But then when I talk to new players coming into the game and new players starting to play it, they say that they love the game and that they're playing it more than they did Call of Duty or any other FPS shooter game. So let's see why a lot of people are saying that and what's the difference between those two. So a lot of people who played Overwatch 1 thinks it's just a reskin and that a lot of things was just not changed. It's just more of a generic and just a regular FPS game. They also complain about how it changed from a 6v6 to a 5v5 and being quote unquote more chaotic and just feeling like a regular TDM game. But on the other hand, you have the people who just started playing the game who thinks that is awesome and that is more aggressive and more of a fast pace because they like more fast paced games. And honestly, I can agree with them. I think that is really good that it's being more aggressive and more of a fast paced game besides being slower and just more aggressive than it was in Overwatch 1. So now I'm gonna give the most controversy thing of the video. I'm gonna give my opinion. Honestly, you don't have to agree with my opinion. You don't even have to take it into account. But this is how I feel how Overwatch 2 is and the state of the game. And if it's better than Overwatch 1 and how is it doing compared to Overwatch 1 and what it's going to do in the future. So honestly, I think Overwatch 2 is a really good game. I like it. I like how it feels. I like how it's very aggressive. Kind of feels like a TDM. I just like it. I like the aggressive gameplay. I like always being in a fight, and it just feels good to me. Blizzard also announced that there's going to be frequent updates to the game, as in new maps and new characters being added throughout the battle pass. It's also going to be really good for it because it's going to keep the game updated and bringing in more attraction. And what I mean by that, when you keep a game updated, streamers are going to get into it as well as new players, which is mainly a reason why streamers and new players are getting into the game because it feels like completely a different game compared to Overwatch 1. And it also just feels way better. The mechanics feel good. Everything just feels better than Overwatch 1 in my opinion. So I think that's about it about all I'm going to talk about today. Like I said before, I just think Overwatch 2 is a better game and just feels better to me, in my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with it, and it's okay if you don't. Honestly, I'm just glad that we're here enjoying Overwatch 2 as a community and that everything is going as it's planned. Also, I just want to say thank you for watching the video and just overall thanks for even considering watching it. If you can do me a favor though, I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of this year, so if you can sub to the channel and like this video, that'd be really much appreciated. But that's about it. Thanks for watching, and this is Zylox. Peace out. I got